Yo, check this out. Sit down. The lesson begins now.
We are live on the mic.
The crowd favorite, DJ Deuce, is in the building.
Yo, what's up? I'm your host, DJ Deuce. I'm here with an amazing singer-songwriter from the West Coast, Vancouver. Am I right? Am I right, Jennifer?
Yep.
Jennifer Victor's here with me today. I'm so happy to have you here. You're so talented. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Jennifer, that's the first thing for me. I always think I try to bring the positives to social media because I think there's so much negative stuff on there, right? So for me, when I get to see talent, I'm like, sweet, hopefully they can come do the show with me and hopefully we can all share the exposure. So once I first saw you on there, I was like, damn. I was like, you're very, very, very talented, by the way. Very, very
Thank
talented.
you. I appreciate that.
But there's some stuff I want to get, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to talk about the beginning. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Chilliwack, BC. So that's a really small town. It's about an hour and a bit from Vancouver.
Yes, I think one of my friends, Jesse, that's been on the show, his nephew is now an RCMP officer in Chilliwack.
Oh, that's so cool.
So the first time I ever even heard of it, I was like, where? That sounds very far. It's like I said, I'm outside Vancouver. I'm like, damn it. It's funny, like Vancouver, it's funny. Even to today, I watched a documentary, 30 on 30, on the riots in 2011, the hockey after the...
Oh, you know what? Something like that just came up on my feed today, and I was looking at it. Yeah, that's so interesting that you say that, but that was crazy times.
I was just like, I look back, because you tend to forget, because there's so much, terrible news or stuff out there. So then I was like, Vancouver had a riot, and I put it on. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that was pretty intense.
It was.
And again, that's where social media comes up, and all these people ratted themselves out, by the way, by posting themselves on Facebook.
Right? I know. It was a big thing. It was a huge thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how old were you when you figured out, or someone told you that you were really talented at singing?
Well, you know what? I don't think it was specific. Actually, I do have a specific memory of someone telling me this, and it was at a birthday party. It was at my sister's birthday party. And I don't even remember how old I was. I was very young, probably 8, I would say. And the Sister Act soundtrack was coming on, and we were all dancing in the living room to it. And I remember I was not really thinking, I was just singing the lyrics out loud and jumping on the couch. And one of the girls from the party was like, oh my goodness, like you can actually sing. And I instantly got embarrassed and I stopped.
That's natural. That's natural.
Yeah, I was so shy. So I was like, oh my goodness, like don't put all the attention on me. So then I just stopped and that was that. But that's the first earliest memory I have, I would say.
I get told, I was the opposite. I was like, just shut up, you're ruining the song.
Oh my God. Well, thankfully that wasn't my experience.
That's my experience, all right? Just make sure the music's louder than me and we're okay with that though. But no, that's cool. I don't know. I DJ. I'm just loud. That's why I have a podcast. But I always admired people that are in the music business that could sing, perform instruments. I'm always like, damn. It's like, you're a DJ. I'm like, I don't play an instrument.
I don't either, though. This is my instrument. My voice.
I don't even have that. So I admire all you guys. That's what I mean. I'm like, damn, man. You know what? I would abuse my power as a performer. I would never get off the stage. That's why I wasn't blessed with that. So do you remember your first performance ever?
I remember doing a talent show when that wasn't until I was like 15 though. That was my first public actual one that I did. And it was for like the local, I don't know, they always do like this local fair thing. Okay. Yeah. So, and I tried out and I sang Hero by Mariah Carey.
Wow.
It was terrible.
Wow.
It was actually terrible.
Could have aimed a little lower on that scale.
It was like, I mean, back then I didn't really know a lot of things. I didn't know how to use my voice. I had a very specific style and I was stuck between country and something that was more pop. So it didn't really work that well. I think it was probably very cute, but I definitely didn't win and I didn't place anything. So.
Oh, interesting. Because if anyone listens to you now, they'd be really shocked about hearing this. I'm telling you this right now.
Probably.
You're very shocked. But so how'd you grow from there? How did you know where to hit these ranges? Did you get a vocal coach or?
No, I've never had any vocal training. So what I ended up doing is I bought my first karaoke machine and I would just sing at home. So I sang at home and I would mimic a lot of singers. So at the time when I was around 15, 16, Britney Spears was like a really big deal. So I was like, okay, well, if I just sing her songs and I try to mimic what she's doing with her voice, or like Christina Aguilera, I tried doing that. And I feel like that actually, people say not to do that, but for me, it was so helpful. Yeah, it did a lot for me to learn how to riff and do all these things. It took a while, but
well, what's cool? It's a karaoke machine, right?
Yeah.
It's perfect practice. It's,
Totally.
yeah, why not? Yeah, no, it's cool. And you, obviously, if you don't really know the words, they're popping up in front of you anyway, so that works out. That's amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
So-
do you ever go to a karaoke bar and just wow everybody?
Oh, I sure do. Yeah. I haven't gone like lately, not in a while, but I do go when I can. And
That's
like,
awesome.
here, there's not as many places to go,
Okay.
but yeah, I love going. It's fun and it's nice to be around people who don't really know you very
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Because then they're not expecting anything, and it's
I was at a karaoke bar. I finished DJing at this event fairly early, so it was like midnight. So I'm on my way to dropping off my equipment, and there's this karaoke bar, and I know the owner, so I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna pop in and say hi. I'm off a little early, right?" So I show up in there, and this big biker-looking dude gets on stage, and when someone goes on stage, you try to guess what they're gonna sing. Right?
Totally.
You're
Yeah.
like, "Oh fuck, it's gonna be something like Metallica," or I'm going on, and he sang "Fireworks" by Katy Perry.
Oh gosh, that's
I'm
unexpected.
not gonna lie, I did laugh out loud because it completely threw me off. I was like,
Yeah.
I would have lost that bet. Like,
Yeah.
because you're always like, oh no, what's I gonna sing? And that
But
guy,
I love that. I think that's so cool.
Oh, for sure, it was cool. I wasn't laughing at him. I was laughing at how off could I have been on this guess? So I was
Right?
like,
I know. You never know. That's why you can't judge a book by its cover.
I know, and I still do. I'm so bad, but anyway.
That's okay. Yeah.
I still do. So now, like, when was your first time ever getting into a recording studio?
The first time going into recording was probably when I was about 20, actually.
Okay.
So
How was your experience like? Because I owned a recording studio,
Mm-hmm.
and watching music develop wasn't what I was expecting.
no, it was way different. And and even now, because I have my own studio at home now, I much prefer it, to be honest. I understand the recording studio aspect. But for me, I found it was weird to hear my voice in the headphones at first. And that took probably the longest to get used to.
I could see that. I could see
Yeah.
that.
And it was just different. Like, I don't know. It didn't feel comfortable for me.
Now, being in the studio, do you find that there's how can I explain? Because you record at home now, and
Yeah.
you find back then, 20, learning the ropes a bit, in music studio. Do you find a lot of people had opinions on how to sing?
Oh, everybody's got an
Yes,
opinion.
yes, okay.
Yes. And thankfully, I worked with a wonderful guy. He's just downtown here. His name is Peter Kilgore. And so he was amazing. He would let me take the lead if I had, if I was inspired by something and I would, just feel like maybe this is the direction we should go. But I've been in other places in Vancouver. I did record there as well. And the experience was completely the opposite, where the guy was like, no, I can't put
Yep.
you higher. I like to hear myself extremely loud. when I
Okay.
sing. So, and he was like, no, I don't know. And like, I'm like, no, like I literally can't hear myself. And I found that it was a lot of just butting heads a bit. And
Yes.
that kind of soured the experience a bit for me, but I know everywhere is not like that. So
Because I remember a friend of mine was recording music, and I'd have the time. I'd go with them, and I remember just like, it's like, let's do it this way, and they were like, no, and I'm like, we're kind of paying you a lot of money per hour. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's kind of his music. Let him do it the way he wants it. Yeah, it was a little tough. We found a guy. It was a Dream Engine Audio. I don't know if he's still around, but he was a great guy. He was literally like, you are renting me and my equipment. That's what he.
Gotcha.
I can. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. If there's anything we can do. But he was the easiest guy to work with. But some other people, it's like it was just impossible. I just found like we're paying money, but they still wanted their expert opinion on everything, and it's like, it's not your stuff though. It drove me crazy.
Oh, I get that.
Now, did you when you back? I'm not trying to. I don't want to know how old you are. I'm not putting that out there. But was your first track? Was it a CD?
It was.
And did you put it in the car after? Was it exciting?
Yes, it was very exciting. Yeah, it was really fun. Actually, it was like a demo. It was like a 3-song demo. And I
that's so
remember
dope.
it was like, oh, this is so cool.
Okay, so now we're 20 years old. You have the 3-song demo.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that's it. We send this demo out. We're getting signed, right? Was that the goal? Is that what you guys were planning at back
That,
then?
yes, that back then and things were very different. So
Press
you had
kits?
to, I mean, I made it all myself. I
Yep.
went to this little like printing store and they printed posters of me and they were like taken, with a really crappy camera and not great. So I did send it out.
Yep.
So this would have been So actually, I sent a demo out on a cassette tape, believe it or not, when I was 16.
Wow.
So this was before I had studio time. So I recorded it with my ghetto blaster.
Yes,
probably.
yes.
And yeah, I sent it in to a bunch of record labels when I was 16.
That's crazy because that's everyone thinks the same way. Every time you get a CD and you think there's a hot track and all your friends are behind it, and you throw a local show, you're like, this is it. Someone's gonna sign us, and
totally.
and then nothing happens, and you're just
but
like,
even now, people are like, how come you're not like more famous? Like, how come you haven't been signed? And it's like people don't really get it. They don't know actually how hard it is.
It is. I don't even know what it is because like through this podcast, right? Like I've obviously met amazing singers, and and I'm always thinking of like, if I could just win the lottery, I would scoop these people. Like I'm always like, because it hurts my feelings, like on wasted talent, and they're there, but they're not wasted because everyone's still doing their thing. But I'm just like, huh? And I'm putting on the radio, and I'm like, why is this on the radio?
I know.
You have that same feeling?
Totally.
I'm like, oh my God, this sucks.
And I think too, when you mix your own stuff, you can hear where stuff's been edited, or you can hear the auto tune. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
It's so true. It's so true. Like I'm always like, oh, that's not good. She's not a good singer. Like, yeah, she is. I'm like, you don't understand how much studio work was behind this track. Or I just because I remember like I took 3 years off of DJing. Right. I remember being like, okay, I DJed way too much, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Screw the people. No more requests with the phones in my face. Like I needed a break.
Yeah.
And I literally took a break from music. Like I'm talking about like podcasts were in my car stereo. Like I wasn't listening to music. 3 years later, I put the radio back on, and it was the same songs that were played 3 years ago when I was DJing. Gosh. And I'm going, are we not moving forward?
Yeah.
So then I took a couple tracks that I really enjoyed from people that were on the show, and I sent them to the local radio people. And they were just like, oh, we can probably put it on the satellite radio, or that channel.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, really? Like, I just find, do you find that as even as a country, city, or province, or whatever the case may be, they don't support local talent enough?
No. And when I've released a single, I've reached out to so many that were local, like from here to Vancouver, radio stations, like, can you just give it a few spins? Like, can you play it? It is so hard. Like people don't understand actually how hard it is to get a song, and I even have all the rights to the songs. Like I have all the proper licensing.
There you go.
It doesn't matter. They're just like, it's just not, there's not enough support.
Is it because T-Pain mentioned one time on one of the podcasts he was on, he was saying you need to make it, you need $250,000.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? And don't get me wrong. Now it makes more sense why there's a lot of garbage out there. That's forced down our throats, right? Yeah. I had a friend of mine years ago, and I remember being like, oh, the radio's garbage. This is garbage. I used to say it to him all the time, right? And he, being the typical human being, and he had every right to say this, he goes, well, if it was garbage, why is it on the radio? Like he just didn't get it, right? And I'm like, they're forcing shit down your throat. Now you're thinking you like the song because it's in the top 40, whatever the case may be. I'm like, it's not the case. It's not true though.
No, now, I know.
Now, have you ever had, I want both sides of the story. I want, give me the worst case scenario. Did you ever have a terrible experience performing? And what was the best, one of your best live performances?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say the worst is probably when the music stopped in the middle of a performance.
Really?
Because I'm like, I don't know. I tend to be a little bit shy. So I don't know. I was like, I remember I was doing, I don't know, there's a hockey team called the Langley Hornets, and I used to do the anthem for them all the time.
Okay.
So in the intermission, I would sing like a set of songs. And then during, it was really cool.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. So, but then one time my music just stopped in the middle, and it was like dead silence, but it's a huge arena. You can't miss it. And I'm standing there like a deer in headlights. I don't know what to do.
No.
I'm super like awkward and uncomfortable when I'm like not prepared. So I just kind of like stood there and like stared blankly at everybody. And then I kind of looked back at my friend who was over there, and she's just like, what you gonna do? And so then
she starts to backpedal away from you.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know this person. But I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And so I was like, well, I guess I'm singing a cappella, which is like, I hate singing a cappella. I know it probably sounds really weird.
that's no,
I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable without music and a mic. So you know what? It ended up being fine. I still don't think it sounded great, but I worked with it.
Realistically, it must have felt like an eternity for you to pick up the acapella. But how long was that pause between no music and the acapella?
Oh, like literally half the song. Like it was.
But I mean, how long was the pause between like for you to realize that you have to pick up the acapella?
Oh, at least a solid 30 seconds, which
Okay, that's
feels
long.
like an eternity.
No, that's long. That's long. People start looking away from you. That's how long it was. They were like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding.
They're like,
I'm
what is
kidding.
she gonna do? Like, is she gonna cry? I felt like
Oh
crying.
my God. Yeah, there's stuff. I've had like DJing hasn't been so bad. Obviously, you're not put, not in the middle of the whole of a whole arena. But I had situations where like some guy comes and requests a song and then like loves to kick my plug out of the and everything just shuts down. And you're like, and then he kind of, but the guy's there, so he kind of like has to eat the blame, right? You're like, hey, give me like 30 seconds and plug the stuff back in. I had those type, but my case, it's not even. I have nightmares after my events, not before my events. I don't know. Is that weird?
No, I overthink after for sure.
What the hell's wrong with us?
I think it's perfectionist. I think that's, I'm a perfectionist.
Because I'm like, I sleep perfectly fine the night before. Wake up, I smash the event. I come home 3:00. There's a nightmare at 5 a.m. I'm like something wasn't working, or I couldn't find a song, or something's like. And I ask people like, you're probably the only other person that told me that you have the same problems, because everyone else like, no, it's the night before. I'm like, no, it's not the night before. It's the night after. I'm always freaked out for some reason, even though everything went well. And I got to wake up and be like, I already did the show, no big deal. So you that's happened to you too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely happened. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I just thought it was me. I was like, damn, I don't understand what the hell I don't know if it's the overthinking of the actual event too. You just can't stop.
Yeah, if it's like a live event where I'm singing, like performing, then I am the worst overthinker. I mean, people that know me will listen to this and they'll be like, yeah, you are. So yeah, I overthink things. I analyze it. If I didn't sing something perfectly, I have a really hard time accepting that it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've come a long way. I used to be a lot worse. So.
Well, I had a friend of mine. So he's my MC when I DJ, right? And this girl that we had on the podcast, a local, she was from Ottawa with us, and she was having an EP release party. She asked me, can you DJ? I was like, I can't DJ that night. It's a Wednesday. It's too close to time. Like, I finished too late at work.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, I need an MC. I said, ask James. And she knows who my buddy is. She goes, okay, I'll ask him. She sends me a text like, thank you so much. James is going to do it. So I go to the event. I show up like 15 minutes early. I sneak into the club. And James looks at me and goes, bro, she gave me a booklet to read, like, and literally like paragraphs. He just thought he was gonna like, and there's so and so, and you know what I mean. He was just like, so I sit in the back and I watch him, and he stumbles very little on a few words, and he comes back. He's like, "Fuck, I fucked up." I said, "No one realized you fucked up.
No.
As long as you can pick up from where you screwed up and move forward, no one will ever." Again, like you just got to like, I go, everyone screws up. It's how we recover. That's just.
Totally.
We're just human, right? We're just absolutely human.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've definitely had a lot of screw ups and had to just kind of carry on. So
we have a question from Daryl. He says, can you sing a cappella? You don't have to, and you don't, because you just said you don't enjoy it. So that's going to be a no.
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
I got you. Not today.
Not today. How about I'll do one maybe on Instagram later. Though.
Now we're talking. We're talking.
I can be good. I can go meet you halfway.
So now we talked about, what was your best performance? Your favorite one to date?
Oh, my favorite one. Like a live performance?
Yeah.
I don't think it was my best vocal performance, but because of all the things that were against me and stacked on me that day, I would say I'm really proud of myself for doing it. So I did a singing competition in Las Vegas, and it was for the World Karaoke Tour. I'm not even sure if this contest even exists anymore, but it did. And I was in the duets with a partner. And so we won first place. And so we sang at this amazing venue. It was the sports arena or something. I can't remember what it was called.
The sports fans hate you right now. I'm just telling you that.
I know. But it was like so cool. And the sound was amazing. And I had this horrible cold, bronchitis. I think I was coughing blood practically. No. And it was horrible. But I mean, I got first place and I kicked butt, and I was so proud of myself.
Good for you.
Which, again, vocally, was it my best? No. But I really I pushed myself beyond what I thought I could do, and I just stuck with it. So
what does the winner get? What would you guys receive?
Well,
a pat on the back. What'd you guys get?
Pretty much.
No. Thanks,
honestly,
girls. You did a great job.
yeah, no, honestly, I don't really actually even remember what the prize was.
Wow.
That's how insignificant it was.
It's
sadly.
incredible. It's funny because years ago, we were watching America's Got Talent, right? And at the end there's these credits and there's a bunch of little words, and my friend pauses it. And he's like, "Yo, read that." So this is a big TV, and I walk over, and it was like your $1 million prize is like paid off in $50,000 a year for X amount of years.
Yeah.
I was just like, God damn, like that.
Or they'll write that there's a prize, like, oh, you win this much money, but then they say in small print, like, oh, it's in recording money, like. And
I was figuring when they say you win a job to Las Vegas, I thought literally that's what you win is fucking fuck it, you just win a job, hopefully $1 million worth. But I was like, it's funny that some of these events, like now, have you? I want to get into this, but have you been in I don't know, like one of those other competitions, like Canadian Idols and stuff like that? Have you attempted to do any of those?
Oh yeah. I've auditioned for Canada's Got Talent. I auditioned last year or the year before, but didn't hear anything back.
Hold on a sec. I watched that show this year.
It was terrible. I'm sorry. It was horrible.
Oh my God, I was embarrassed.
I was like, how? Because my audition that I sent it, and not to toot my own horn, but it was good. I was like so confident. And
muscle you in next time, because I was so I was embarrassed. I was like, what are we? And I'm okay. Screw this. I don't care. Anyone that knows me on the podcast, I'm just gonna split out the truth. Even the singers were just like, eh.
Yeah. It didn't really there was, I don't know. And also, if you watch the other shows like Britain's Got Talent or even the American one, the standard is so high. It's so different. And I feel like in Canada, we have amazing talent. Like many, and not to say the people who were in there weren't talented. They absolutely were in their own right. Were they $1 million worth?
No.
I mean, I think they're lovely people.
I'm not judging them as human beings.
No, absolutely not.
We're judging people on talent because that's what the show's goddamn called, right?
Exactly.
So I'm going to judge you on talent.
Yeah.
And like every episode I was watching, I was extremely and I'm like, I can throw a local talent show that would be better than that. That's what it felt like.
Totally.
It felt like, you know what? Do you want me to tackle this project? Because I was so there's no way. I've seen better stuff by accident.
But you know what? I was just saying that too. Like I went to karaoke in Toronto, in Ontario, and 20 of singers from there could have easily outshone them. And I was like, oh my goodness. It was really honestly very disheartening to watch it, knowing that, there's good people that I'm sure just got bypassed. And for that, I don't know.
There's got to be some politics behind it, just like everything else.
For sure. Oh yeah.
But there was I don't know how many years ago, there's a friend of mine from here. It was the Canadian Idol. And she, I don't know, maybe top 8 or something, right?
Yeah.
And she was done working, and I had a music studio, and the producer goes, you know that girl? I was like, yeah, I know her personally. He's like, can you get her here? I have some stuff I want to work with her. She's perfect for it. So I call her, and she's so excited. She comes there with her manager, and she wasn't allowed to do anything with anybody for 2 years. That's some sort of contract they signed in the top 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Because the name is too big at the time, and she can use it to catapult. But I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And so after a while, I was kind of against these talent shows, because it's it's a popularity contest. There's a bit of politics behind it, and I don't want people's dreams to be crushed. Someone like yours that doesn't make the audition part. And we all know that you're much better than most people there. And for anyone that doesn't have enough self-confidence, this can literally crush them from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always like, stay away from those, do your own thing. I don't know. And again, I don't want to be the one that says stay away and then they go into it and win and tell me I'm wrong. But I mean, I just don't want people to get crushed on.
I think you have to go in with a realistic expectation, and that's what it comes down to.
Okay.
Like for me, when I've auditioned, like last year and the year before, did I expect to be called back? Not really. Last year I had a little more higher hopes just because I felt like my audition was solid. But I also went in thinking, you know what, like whether it does or it doesn't, I'm going to be just fine. It's not going to bother me. So
Jennifer, what about the people when you watch them and they do the, the auditions, like, they do the sing in front, and they're super terrible, and there's their mom and dad and cousins and brothers are like, go in there and kill it, and they suck.
Yeah.
Should people encourage the shit? I'm just throwing that out there. Or should people be like, you're probably better at something else than you are at this?
I think it's the judges panel. Their job is literally to be honest with people. And if that's something that they can improve on, they can find things to say about
that. But I'm talking about the friends and family.
Oh, the friends and family.
So Jen, if you are one of the worst singers in our group.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to the Canadian Idol. Can you come with me? I'm like, Jen, you're not very good at this. Like, I would be your honest friend. I wouldn't embarrass you. I would pull you aside and be like, I don't want this to happen to you. I don't want to be on television. I know the rest of the group's been telling you you're really good, but you should take a look. But a lot of people just want to encourage it, and then they go on there and they just get.
I know.
And I'm always like, why would you do that to them? It murders my soul.
Yeah, totally. I think you can be honest in a gentle way. I don't think you have to be rude to somebody.
You don't have to embarrass them. You just I'm like, because I had a friend of mine that went karaoke, and his wife loved karaoke. So she was always telling him how great he was, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he started to believe it. So one time we go to the bar, it's just him and I, and he goes, "Yo, you want to karaoke?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." He's like, "Yeah, I'm very good." And he gets up there and he like bombs big time. Yeah. And he sits next to me. I was like, "Yo, you got to sit a couple seats over now. Like, that was terrible." And he's like, "No, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yes." And I'm like, "You have like more of a Johnny Cash type of voice." So he went up there and sung Johnny Cash, and he did an excellent job. So he gets back home and he tells his wife, he's like, "You've been making me look like an idiot this whole time."
Oh, yeah. I think there's a level of honesty that is good. You know, I mean, again, it's all in the delivery, I think.
I was like, "Damn, you're not very good." I'm like, but I guess she wanted to always go out, so she encouraged him to sound. But then he sounds good. And I
feel like I will find something that is good about anybody, really, and because I never want to break someone's spirit, but at the same time,
that's my job. It's my job, Jen.
I'll just leave it to you.
Just be like, I'll send people. You know what? Oh yeah, like, I got someone I got to send your stuff to, and just send it in my way. I feel bad because this one lady sent me her stuff. She emailed me. I got an ice cream truck guy.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Like, what is it? It's only 8:30 over here at night. Goodness. Like, why would any kid that's eating ice cream now has problems. But anyway, she sends me her stuff. She's like, "Hey, Deuce, dude," and as a DJ, they always think you're gonna play all their shit, right? So she emails it to me, and it's so bad. Like, it's so bad. She's like, "Did you listen to it?" And I just said yes. I didn't say anything because I don't know her personally, so I don't owe anything to say. I wanted to be like, "Is this your first time recording?" Because it really does sound like it, but I just didn't. I didn't even get into it. She's like, "Oh yeah, so you heard it?" I was like, "Yeah," and I just left it as that. She never. I guess I don't know if she got the hint or not, but she never messaged me again. But I get that sometimes. I get listen to my stuff.
I know. And I think if someone's asking you the honest opinion, then they have to be set up for the absolute truth, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, and but the people throw around the word hater too quickly now.
Oh, we're so sensitive now.
Yes.
Yes.
The youngins that work with me, I call them. What did I say to them? I said they make them soft now. And they always get mad at me when I say that.
Yeah, this is the times that we are in, unfortunately. Yeah.
So that's what would happen if I said your shit sucks. Then she'll be like, "Oh, you suck," and blah blah blah. And I just don't even want to deal with that stuff.
Yeah. No, it's not worth it.
Now, have you ever been a part of a band at all, or was it only just pure, beat producing?
Yeah, no, I've never actually been like a member of a band. I've sang with bands, but not like an actual member. No.
Would you ever be interested?
It would depend, because here it's all country. Like, that's the problem. I mean, I can sing country, but I don't prefer it. It's not my style. But when I've done stuff with a band, it's always been more of a country pop type of thing. So
I just find the band is like, it's so hard to have everyone on the same page. Mm-hmm. Same day at recording studios. You know what I mean? Rehearsals. Like, I always like, when I see a band, I'm always like, yeah, man, that's got to be tough. Like, Sunday, I can't make it Sunday. We're performing here. Oh, I probably can't make it. Like, there's always a reason to like trip and fumble before you'd even get started, right? So I always find bands are very, very difficult. But you know what? There's nothing better than a live band behind someone that's singing. Anyways, that energy is fantastic. But
for sure,
those poor bands that get together, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how you do it. I just don't know how,
Yeah, I think, that's why a lot of people are older, because, they're just less busy. Maybe they have more time to do stuff, and they can really hone in on it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I never even thought of that. Because I know there was a band here. They're like a rock band. They're killing it. They actually made it into the rock radio station. Like, they've done well. But I remember talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we got to get rid of our drummer." And I was like, "How do you do that?" I'm like,
yeah.
And this drummer is like high-fiving everyone after a show, and the other four are like, So I interviewed them, and then I'm like, I noticed there was a new drummer, and I brought it up. I'm like, "So how'd you guys mentioned that to the new, they're like, he had to go. Like it was,
Oh,
and I guess in a band, you got to cut the fat, right? You got to trim the fat and you got to move forward. That's a tough
sometimes
thing.
it just doesn't work. So I mean, yeah, it's hard. I mean, I always like the idea of a band, but I also think you have to have a certain amount of time to devote to it, and you have to really connect with the members. And I have a busy life, so it would be hard for me to do that. This is why I like what I do now, because I can kind of pick the times that I want to do it.
Do you it's like the fourth member of Destiny's Child. We don't know who she is, but we know there was a fourth member.
Yep.
She's got to hate her life. She's got to hate her life a little.
Yeah.
So where do you think if you had to pick a time and you wanted to stick there a certain, I don't know, decade or so, do you find it's easier to make it within the CD industry or today in the Spotify, Apple Music industry?
I don't know, because I think I'm going to probably say back then, like in the 80s and 90s probably was easier. I feel like there was not as much competition.
Yes.
So people stood out more when there was something exceptional.
Hard work. People rose to the top. I totally agree to that.
And people would try. They would go to Nashville. They would like put their foot on the floor and they would go do it, right? Whereas now it's like, oh, I'll just upload a video and there I go. And they auto-tune the crap out of it, and it's like you can make anyone sound so good. And I just think like it's so congested, the social media now, with all these types of singers. And they're great.
But do you think, let's say we team up, we're in 1994, we team up, I want to be your road manager, we're going to go on a small little tour, I book you, and we sell, I don't know, 100 CDs a night, and that's like $1,000, $1,500 like there was ways to make money back then. With a little bit of hustle. Now it's, you throw your shit on Spotify and you get fractions of pennies.
Oh yeah, and YouTube's even worse. It's like it doesn't pay you. Yeah, and people think, oh man, you must be making a killing, especially on Spotify, because I have a pretty decent amount of listeners on Spotify.
Well, first of all, let me pop that up. I saw your post about what your last. So you had 2.8 million streams.
Yeah,
which is a milestone, and every artist would wish to be in that situation.
Yeah.
172 countries. Like these numbers alone for me is success.
Yeah.
But the average person don't understand that it's not success though. The way that the industry is built today, right?
Totally.
We have and that's the issue. This is when I talk to independent artists, they're always like, it's easier today. You just put our music on DistroKid and blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there going, but there's nothing comes out of there. Nothing comes out of this.
Nope. You'd have to have millions upon millions on one song to really make anything worthwhile. I mean, you have to just love it, I guess.
It was something to do with like some numbers. I don't remember which streaming platform. 1 million streams was like $3,500.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like if people knew the amount of work it takes and the equipment that like you're using right now, your microphone, I admire her microphone. For people that don't know, that's the microphone I want to get and will eventually get, because now she pushed me to it after I hear her on my headphones. But I mean, like equipment alone isn't cheap. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just this, and you know what I mean? The studio time, even if it's your own studio, you're still buying buying your equipment. You still have engineers. You still have people that you work with. Promotions. You can throw $3,500 in no time.
So fast. And not to mention you're paying DistroKid, the fee. And, it's like there's so many things involved in the background.
Well,
too.
See, we have for our podcast, we use Podbeam. Okay. That's when I put in and it goes through all this other shit. Mm-hmm. We don't get anything from them, by the way.
Right. Okay.
Like we get $0, but they can't wait. Every year they can't wait to take my annual fee. Like they keep coming in there and scooping it. And everyone's like, oh, you get paid. I'm like, the artists have it slightly better than us podcast guys. The good thing that I got through the podcasting, it opened a lot more doors. I got to meet a lot more people, which is super cool. And I'm so grateful for that. But again, people think like there's he has a podcast or stuff. No, there isn't. This is the most expensive hobby of my life. I'm just explaining that to people.
Yeah.
I want to start a podcast. I'm always like, oh God, don't. Like I'm always I'll help you, but damn, I'm gonna feel bad if I don't tell you, the worst parts about it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
I know sometimes people reach out to me. They're like, oh, so you must make a killing, with the Spotify and the YouTube, and I'm like. No.
Like, yeah, book me. Give me a couple.
I have monetization enabled on my YouTube, but I never use it. I never turn it on because it's not even worth it to me. It's not worth my viewer having an ad for the 20 cents it's going to pay for me. It's just not.
I see. That's a good. I like that. I like the way you think. That's good for you. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they win. You're losing. Actually, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it. Now, like, was there ever a doubt where you're like, "Fuck, I'm done with this"?
Yeah, I think yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more from more of a personal standpoint of not feeling confident and feeling self-conscious. Yeah, it's been really hard for me to go from being so shy when I first started because I didn't start posting until 2016. So my first videos were like in the dark practically. You couldn't see me.
Okay.
I was facing completely this way. I didn't want to be seen. And it was a very self-conscious thing for me to be on video. I still don't care for it. It's just not my favorite, but I'll do it.
This could have been audio, we could have made this an audio.
But yeah, so I was like, it took a lot. So I think when there were times when I wanted to be done because there would be someone rude or and I haven't gotten a lot of nasty comments, but when I first started, I did get a couple because I didn't know how to record properly.
Okay.
So I used so much reverb, you could hear it a week from now. It was crazy.
People, it's normal. Anytime you do something new,
Yeah.
graphic designing, anything you do,
Yeah.
you overkill. It's an over.
Oh yeah, and I was
Let's
like,
add more.
echo to the max, and I was like, oh my goodness, you can hear me.
Every
from here
artist
to
does it in
China.
any type of genre of any type.
Yeah.
If it's graphic designing to music, it's always like overdo it. No, I get it.
Yeah.
No, so,
So
it
I
could
was
be
just like,
influence.
yeah, I was excited, right? And then, I think someone wrote this really stupid comment and then, there was people saying, oh, lip syncing and all this stuff. And it was just so rude, right? And and I'm very honest about how I record. If I lip sync something, I will tell you I'm lip syncing it. I'm not going to deny it. I'm straight up. Same with autotune. I don't use autotune at all. Never have. Only on my Spotify stuff because I send it to a mixer. Obviously, they do use a little bit.
Okay.
But for anything on YouTube, anything on Instagram, I never use autotune. But there would be people that would be like, just rude or
How do you handle that? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't handle it well. I'm the guy that cares the least.
Yeah.
On a lot of stuff, but there's certain things I'm just like. I'm like, what? What'd you write?
Well, I used to respond very differently.
I always respond.
I used to respond I used to not respond, actually. I used to just leave it and I would go cry about it. And I would just be like, oh my goodness, I'm never doing this again. I'm not putting myself out there. I think I even turned off comments after a while.
I can see that.
Because I was like, is this worth my mental health and my energy? No, it's not. But as I carried on and as I think I got older and I just realized, who gives a crap what anybody says anyway?
That's 100. I don't know, but we're all human. There's an initial gut punch though.
Oh, totally. There always is. And even now, I think it still would sting if someone said something terrible.
So Jennifer, this is what I did. Okay. It's never worked, but this was my plan for the podcast.
Okay.
I had a bad comment and I would add them as a friend. They would never accept me.
Right.
Then I would go into messages and I try to FaceTime them through Instagram, but I would video screen it so I can show it on the podcast.
Oh
after.
my gosh, that's actually genius.
It's never worked. They never answer. I get blocked. They're rude and they block to me and I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then it's there's times where I'm just like, I told people are like totally against an opinion. I said, come on, come debate it with me then.
Yeah. No, I mean, now I write back. If there's a comment on something and it's, now I'm a little more feisty about it. And I just think it's funny now. I don't take it the same way I did before. Because I think anyone that's going to take the time to put a comment on someone's page who's really trying their best to do something that means something to them, and you're going to go and put a negative comment, that says more about that person.
Very true.
Yeah.
And there's this guy that has a big, I guess it's like a podcast platform, and he used to be an ex-professional wrestler, and he ended up, interviewing professional wrestling, and people are just bashing him on this thing, and he has great views on his thing, and he's like, you guys do know comments help me. The more you comment, more of a thread that goes through. You know what I mean? It's going viral. He's like, I don't care what you guys say. Bash the shit out of me, and then my video is gonna take off. And I was like, it's a good way of thinking it. You know what I mean? He's better than I am. Trust me. I've been slightly better. I don't really sleep with it on my mind, but the initial read of that message, sometimes I'm like, now, I had a solution for this, Jennifer. I had a solution for this. If it's a negative comment, because now if you put a negative comment on something on Instagram, if it's too negative, they'll tell you, are you sure you want to do this? You want to edit it? They should have a negative comment where it's like, please put your address or phone number, like something, so when you
Yeah.
piss us off, we can come knock on your door. Because people wouldn't be posting that shit if we knew more about them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And 9 out of 10 times, the people that post nasty shit don't even have a real friggin' profile picture. Have you noticed that too?
Oh, totally.
It's like a cartoon character or something. You're
Yep.
like,
Oh yeah. Yep.
it's like, okay. I can't let this guy get to me. This is what he does for a living, you know? This is what he does. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so music, man, like it's just like it's one of the toughest industries to break through. You've been in it long enough to see like
Yeah.
I can't even say the progression because it might be the degression of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I remembered when my friend was recording music, to find a producer to make beats was impossible.
Oh yeah.
You'd
Yeah.
find that guy and literally you'd keep them to yourself. You wouldn't even tell the next, like, where do you get your beats? You're like, I don't know. Like, it's like a very straight up lie.
Yeah.
Now there's platforms, Beat Stars, and all sorts of stuff that you can just buy a beat rate online and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there going, the world is completely changed.
Absolutely.
Completely
it is.
changed.
Yeah.
Where do you see the music industry going with this type of change?
You know, it's interesting because I feel like music style is almost going back a little bit to the 80s style. I'm hearing a lot of like 80s like inflections in songs now.
That's right.
So I wonder if the industry is changing as a whole a little bit. I hope so. I think that people are getting tired of TikTok stars. I really do think that.
Ooh, okay.
You know, I think that's going to be something eventually of the past. Maybe not anytime soon, maybe not in the next 5 years, but I do think that people are now wanting real. They want raw. They want people who actually have talent. This is why I don't know if you have TikTok, but it was trending for a while to have people sing without like auto-tune, without any kind of effects, because everybody on TikTok was doing it. It became a challenge. And, you know, I find that like now I've noticed a lot of people are posting more raw content, and it's changing. You know, it's not as polished. It's not as clean as it used to be. And I think it's a really good thing.
Well, my TikTok is a bunch of lip singers. When I look, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
my TikTok,
you're on the different side.
I'm on the talentless slide. Like, there's no one with any talent. Like One Weird Dance, someone lip singing, someone lip talking about a quote. I'm like, what the hell am I watching here?
Yeah, I know. And it's just so it's a lot. It's a lot to
Kills
take.
me. It
Yeah.
kills me. And then you click on one, you're like 350,000 followers. I'm like, what the hell is going on with the world?
I know.
The talent has been shoved us. I've come to the conclusion. I know what it is. I just thought about this right now. People are jealous of the talent because talent of like talented people is the it's the few percentage on pro athletes, singers. So I think that the rest of the bottom is like, screw them. Let's do our own stupidity and let's let them fade, right? So what do you think is the best way to promote your music?
I think, for me personally, I limit my social media for my own personal reasons. I think TikTok is a great way to share stuff because you reach a bigger audience much faster. YouTube has gone down in terms of views and things like that.
Overall,
it's not what it used to be 10 years ago. That's for sure.
No, that's true.
So I think for promotion wise, your best bet is probably TikTok, Instagram Reels, even YouTube Shorts can do pretty well sometimes. If that's your thing. That's my take anyway. I don't know if there's any other avenues, but those are the ones that I would use. I don't have TikTok as a music TikTok.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just have a account that I scroll and watch things. I'm like just hiding in the shadows.
I'm not tired right now. What's going on here? 3 hours later, I just fucked my life up. Shit.
Totally. I'm like, what am I doing with myself? What's my name?
There must be everyone at a certain time in their lives are like, what is this? Like 11 p.m. I'm like, what am I doing? I enjoyed 0 videos, by the way.
Yeah.
I pressed not interested 45 times and the shit still pops up on my page.
Yep.
I don't get it. Yeah. But I just found the music thing is just for me, I've been in it and a promoter and I threw events and I used to love watching it. And I just found that things have I don't want to do this. I don't want to bash the younger generation, but stuff's gotten lazy. You know what I mean? I just find people are not there's a promoter here, right? A big promoter. He's bringing down, I think the next act is Lloyd Banks from G Unit. And I looked at his list on who's the opening acts, and it was the exact same list that was here when the last time they brought someone else. And I'm like,
Oh,
even that's not getting
yeah.
rotated. It's not getting, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. And the way I look at it as a promoter is like, get a whole bunch of fresh faces, get them. Because the thing is, if I was going there because of my friend, and my friend's going again next month, probably perform the same song, I'm probably going to skip that one. So as a promoter, it's a bad move. And two, let's see what's going on. Add more into the city. You know what I mean? But I just find it's a niche market. It's no one wants to share it with anyone. So I don't know. As soon as I saw that, I was a bit. I don't know. I would have done things differently. That's all I gotta say. I would have done it differently. I missed throwing. I remember going to one of the events and I was backstage. They gave me tickets for backstage. I missed being a part of it and doing it, but then I remembered how much work it was, and I was like, never mind.
So much work.
Never mind. Even the last performance I went to go see at Rami's EP party, they're having sound check problems, and I kind of like just moonwalk to the back, like I know I'm gonna get asked, and I'm not. No, I paid for my ticket. I didn't ask for a free ticket. I paid. I came. I supported. I'm not working. I went back there. I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out with the manager, and we just sat there. I'm just like, oh my god, there's too much work.
Yeah,
there's too much. But what was the how did COVID affect your music? Was it a positive or a negative?
I honestly, I don't feel it really changed anything for me because at that time I was doing a lot of home recording anyway. Like I had already started that, so it wasn't.
That's perfect
for me. It kind of just worked out even better for me because that was just the thing that people were doing. But yeah, no, it was good. I never thankfully got sick, so that was good. But yeah, and I was doing a lot of collaboration. So I do like collaborations for vocals, where I'll record the raw vocals at my house or in my own home studio.
Look at that.
Yeah, and then I just send them out. So I'm always doing stuff from home usually.
That's amazing.
So it worked out really good.
Now, how does that work? I want you to sing a song, a hook, whatever the case may be. How does that work? So you record, but how does it work financially? Like, is there a split? Is there a contract?
Yeah, there's usually a split. Like, especially if it's for Spotify, then there's a royalty split for sure.
That's nice. It's nice that that's in there. It's nice that they have that in there. Now, it'd be just nice if they actually gave you guys money.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's nice. Like sometimes there's really good collaborations, and sometimes I just do it because I like the person or the song, or I feel like it's a good vibe. But yeah, so it's really simple. They usually have a track already made, and then they'll want me to sing and write the track as well.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, who's your favorite singer, artist?
Queen.
Really nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love
that's
Queen.
A good one.
Yeah.
I love hearing good ones. That's good. That's good. Now, who's on the radio right now that you can't stand?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna get so many haters. Taylor Swift. I'm sorry.
Oh hell yes, I totally agree with you.
I mean, I think she's lovely as a person, but I don't get it. Like I don't get it.
I was a DJ playing her shit. I didn't get it. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, she's definitely the top of my list for that.
That's the machine behind someone again. That's the perfect example of I'm going to tell you who you like, and you're going to like it.
Yeah, totally.
I do not think that Taylor Swift will stand the test of time.
Yeah,
she's going to fade. It's going to be like that. It's not going to be like like Tina Turner, or you know what I mean, or Whitney. It's not going to be. Yeah. It's going to be like, oh, there was that group that was, that group of kids and whatever fell in love with this kid at that time. But it's not the test of time. So there's no fucking way. There's no way.
I agree. Yeah.
Taylor Swift. So yeah, you know what? I have to agree. Am I crazy that I think what's her name? Ariana Grande is not a good singer? Am I crazy?
It's so funny. I was just actually having a conversation about this with somebody the other day, and I was like, I feel like I liked her more when she was years ago because she actually sang. Now it's all breathing and and I'm like, what is going on? She's so talented though when she really sings. If she truly sings, she has an amazing voice. Okay. Now I feel like she's been under so much production and so much of influence that now she's just whispering the whole song all the time.
I don't know. Like I see her, she seems really sweet, little cute girl, and then her music comes on the radio, and I'm like, fucking, what the hell is this shit? Like, I'm always like, this isn't good. I don't know. It drives me nuts. Again.
Yeah, I haven't liked any of her new stuff. That's just not my cup of tea.
Now, do you watch any, or have you watched her? Were you a big fan of any of the other ones, like American Idol and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've watched a couple different shows. I like all those things. Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
I think from a talent perspective, Britain's Got Talent always wins.
Imagine that. Imagine that. That's true.
Yeah. I love watching that one. And The Voice. The Voice is
I was
also
just gonna. You just took that one. That was what I was gonna say. I love that buzzer hitting,
Yeah.
flipping,
Yeah.
and then always being surprised on what the person looks like because you're not.
Yeah.
That's I like that.
Totally.
That's a perfect example of what you mentioned earlier. Don't judge a book by its cover, and you can't judge that way. You just hear the voice, and boom. I like that show. That one's one of my favorites. I just found at one point there was a freaking singing competition show for everything now, and I was like, God damn it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, just I like. Let's be realistic. Like, do these shows really work for anybody? Like, does anyone really blow up after, during?
Not for Canada's Got Talent. I mean, you don't really hear about anybody. Let's be real about it. But, I mean, some of them for sure. The Voice, I would have to say The Voice has done well.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of them going far. But anything Canadian just seems to bomb. I don't know why. And it's sad because, like, I'd love to change that.
I was very happy at one point arguing with my American friends. We had Justin Bieber, we had Drake, and we had The Weeknd. They were all killing it at one point. I was like, that's our guys.
Yeah.
I was like, good, all right, we're doing all right. But then I feel like we're slipping a little bit again. Like, where's that? We're like, when the hell is Jennifer going to come out and explode?
I'm right here.
What's going on? We got to fix this. How do we fix this? Now we're having a team meeting. How do we fix this, Jennifer?
I don't know. I
mean,
I haven't figured out. If you have a magic button to get me out there,
I would have pressed it already. I would have pressed it. I went through your Instagram. You were singing a lot of covers. They were all dope.
Yeah.
And then I stopped at one. I wasn't sure I wanted to listen to it. And it was Shakira, and you killed it. And I was just like, wow. It was something from what I was listening to. Yeah. And when I saw that one, I was like, there's no way she's going to pull this one off. And you pulled it off.
Thank you.
Very impressed. That's when I was like, I have to hit the message. I got to send. I was very impressed. I was just like, man, you went a little bit outside the box there. And I was like, and you pulled it off.
Well, I get a lot of requests for people. Like, they always want me to do, like, I recently got a request to do Britney. And it's just like, oh my gosh, that's hard, but I mean, I'll do it. But I love doing different stuff. Like, for me, that's so fun.
But it just shows how talented you are. That's literally like when I was going through because a lot of people can sing that one range or that same thing, or you know what I mean, and keep it there. And then I was like, she's not gonna pull this off. And I was like, God damn, this is good. I was like, this is good. I'm like, nice. I'm so happy for you, man. That's really good.
Thank you.
No, it's just, but is it something that you're still like, regardless, are you going to keep doing this? Is this something that you're just going to, it's either a passion or
yeah, definitely. I'm always going to pursue it. I think there's times in my life when I've taken little breaks here and there.
You have to. That's
when
mental.
life
You
has
have
gone
to.
crazy. Yeah. And I think that's not going to change. But I think I always have to sing something. Like, I always have to do something musically.
See that, because when I left DJing for a couple of years, about 3 years, this is what I got into. I needed to replace it. And a friend of mine's like, you got to start a podcast. I was like, I don't even know how to do that. What are you talking about? He's like, you DJ. I'm like, I don't know. It's different. Yeah. And I looked into it, and I remember doing it online. We did it with it was just an audio with a USB into the mixer.
Nice.
And then it was just on like Spotify and shit. And then it was like, we figured out StreamYard afterwards. But then everything costs more money, right? Like everything.
Totally.
Like the mixer here is like $700. I just bought a new Mac. I got these, like, it just doesn't stop. And then I'm going to get your microphone soon. So,
yeah. Yeah. Well, I know, and I had this mic, and then it broke. So this is a new one.
What do you mean it broke? What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. I had an open house. I was selling my house, and I had an open house. And after one of the showings, I think a kid or someone banged into the mic.
No.
I even had it like hidden in my closet. And when I came back home, it was like kind of slightly over, and I was like, oh no. And then I tried recording, and it was all static. And to fix it was going to cost close to the same amount as buying a new one.
There was someone in your house that knew you were a singer.
Right? They're jealous.
And they kicked that shit.
They're like, no more singing for you.
It's like, oh yeah, this one makes it sound good. And they gave it a nice kick. No, man. Yeah, no, there's they have another Shure mic that the podcast one, I don't remember what it's called. I don't know. It's about like, I don't know, 2/3 the price.
Okay.
But should I just shut up and pick that one up? Is that what you're telling me?
Get this one. You will never be, and honestly, it's so good for podcasting.
I know.
Yeah. You need it. You need this mic.
I know. She's like, you know what the best part? Now I think about our conversation on Instagram that you're like, I'm like, oh, you have a mic headset, and then you mentioned what type of mic you had. Is that a little bit of a rub? Like, is that?
That's like, I mean, it's a pretty nice mic.
No, it's like, I know, I get it. Is that you just made sure you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go for the podcast.
So you know, I'm experienced. I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Yeah.
So Jennifer, what's the end goal for you? What would you love to accomplish with music?
I would love to release an EP. That's something that's always kind of been on my mind.
Okay.
I need time to do that. I need to focus and do it.
Now, for
So
people that don't know what an EP is, can you explain to them?
it's like a shortened album. So it's
That's
like
right.
3 or 4 songs. So it's just a shorter version of an album, essentially. So yeah, I would love to do. The problem is that my songs that I have waiting are all different styles. So I need to kind of find ones that are similar in some sense and put them together and record them. So, but I have so much fun doing covers. So it's like, I love doing like older songs and making them new.
Is there like a law that you can't do that? Grab a beat, sing a cover? Is that like some sort of rule?
No, you just have to. I mean, I use a distributor when I post stuff on Spotify. So you do have to have a track made.
Okay.
And credit the person who made the track.
Okay.
And then DistroKid, for example, they credit the artist, the original artist,
Oh, okay.
automatically.
So,
I don't have to do anything. You just can't use like a karaoke track and then upload it to
Yeah.
Spotify.
Okay, no, I get that because I always wondered. Someone else was bringing up covers with me, and I was like, I didn't know how that works. Or
Yeah. No, it's as long as they're getting their cut, they're fine.
I remembered when I had my music studio, we made this mixtape, and we had some of the artists on, beats that were stolen, obviously. And I go to this place where they actually print the CDs professionally, and the guy goes, "Are any of these songs really yours?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "We can't print these." Like it was like, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna give you $3,000. What do you mean you can't print these?" And he gives me a form, and he goes, "Go sign them." Like you're getting a release. I just made fake signatures, signed it, and then he printed my stuff. So
yeah.
Well,
now it's all computerized, right? So
I know.
If you post a song on like YouTube and it's literally that artist's song, you won't be allowed to post it.
Oh, trust me. So when we first started my podcast, like I mentioned it backstage, it's called Shooting the Shit Podcast.
Yeah.
So we used to interview an artist and play their music video at the end. Well, when they all got, all their shit got, with DistroKid and stuff like that, all my podcasts got flagged.
No.
Every single
And then they were muted or?
No, it's going to them.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Which is fine. It's cool. They made my podcast. I'm more than happy to help. But I mean, god damn. Like, I was just like, and then you just get all these emails. You're like, oh god, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, I kind of, but you know what? No, you live and learn, right? You got to live and learn. Here you thought you were helping them. Now it was really helping them. You know what I mean? So big time. So I saw that you had a post. I listened to it. You have a new single that came out.
Yeah. Yes.
All We Could Be. Is that what? Tell me more about that.
That was just a fun song. I mean, a lot of the stuff I've written before, like my previous single was more of like a deeper type of emotional ballad, which was called Hold On To Me. So that was definitely more personal one. This one, I just wanted to do something that was really fun for the start of summer. I wanted something that kind of had a club vibe, that was kind of had a bit of an 80s twist with like a Dua Lipa kind of thing. And so when I heard the track, I mean, I wrote the song in 3 days. It just wrote itself. And then when that happens, I know it's going to be good. So,
okay, 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough. Jesus. I can't do anything in 3 days. I swear to God. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
And I've been through it when I was working. It was on my playlist for while I was at work.
Oh,
which is cool because a lot of people are like, "Who's this?" Because they don't hear some, you know what I mean. They'll be like, and I tell them I always have some of the independent people on my playlist just to if you like this, put that stuff on, which more people need to do, by the way.
They do, yeah.
Now, do you find how's your supporting cast behind you?
I mean, I have a lot of support. Like, there's so many. Honestly, I feel so humbled and like blessed, like beyond measure. Honestly, like my family is so supportive, and even people like on Instagram. There are people. Anytime I post anything, there's the top 10 people, right? They're instantly liking the stories. They're sending me a message, and I see those people and I remember those people. And even on YouTube, like there's people there that have subscribed to me when I had 100 subscribers. And I still remember all their names. And like when I see them post now, this many years later, I'm just like, I don't know. It makes me feel like I don't deserve it, but I'm so happy
you do.
for it.
Yeah, you do. We're big supporters of that. We have a little team behind us with the podcast, and we're always a big supporter of whoever's been on. We have a friend, we call her a friend now because she's been on the podcast like 3 times. She's from Montreal, and she was in MMA. She's an MMA fighter.
Nice.
And sweet girl, dental hygienist. And I was like, I want to throw, how the hell did you get into MMA? I know the curiosity. She's actually going on to becoming in the UFC Contender Series in October. Like she's
Wow.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? And it was just like, it's been awesome. She's actually coming back on. We're not going on live, but we're pre-recording it on Tuesday.
That's cool.
So she's going to come back on and talk about that. And it's so cool having these relationships with people through the podcast and watching them succeed and follow their journey and, you know what I mean, share their journey. And it's cool to have that. And I find people in the community or our own community should do that more with each other.
For sure.
I find sometimes people just get a tad jealous, and it's just be happy for one another. It's just the way to go. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's just the way to do it. Jennifer, thank you so much. I'm going to be, for people that don't know Jennifer, she's from the little bit I've known her, she's very punctual. She's replied to every message. She was on time. She's super prepared. Yeah, I have to appreciate that as a podcast host. You know what I mean? Sometimes I've had I'm going to tell you. I had do you remember the singer Danny Fernandez?
Yeah, actually I do.
Okay, I was supposed to have him on, okay?
Okay.
And it was a mutual friend. He's like, "Yeah, absolutely, I'm coming on." And I'm on here sitting down waiting for him. And then he calls my friend, doesn't even call me. We have each other's number.
Yeah.
Could we reschedule? Of course you can reschedule. Shit happens in life. It happens.
Yeah.
When do you want to reschedule? Sunday at 2. I was like, God damn it. I hate Sundays at 2.
Yeah.
Let's reschedule. So I do a Sunday at 2.
Yeah.
And he bails again.
No.
He bails again.
That's just disrespectful.
And now it's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I would have been more than happy to help you in any way, shape, way, form. I would have done anything I can if you, but it was just one of those, I was like, you know what? My buddy calls like, oh no. I said, never again. I don't do that to people. If he doesn't want to do it, it's totally fine. But just make me come back, set everything up, wait. And then you're like, oh, he's not coming back on. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No.
So yeah, he wasn't, I wasn't the happiest about that, but shit happens.
No, I get that. I mean, your time should be respected too.
Well, that's
it goes
exactly
both
it.
ways.
That's exactly it. I wouldn't do that to anyone else. I don't expect it to be done to me. He could have said no right off the bat, but I heard between you and I, he's not doing too well in general. But I just, sometimes you just have hope for people. You're like, oh fuck, just talk to him, maybe interview him, remotivate him. You know what I mean? That's just how I felt. That's how I felt about it. I was like, fuck, maybe we can get him going again, or no. Never.
Nothing, eh? Oh,
yeah, my co-host at the time wasn't too impressed. He was actually a lot angrier than I was, but whatever.
Oh, well,
shit happens.
It happens. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't be super happy if something was canceled and I got all this ready. I'd be like, do you know how long
Are you ready, Jennifer? Yeah.
I don't wake up like this.
It's it's Saturday. I have other stuff to do.
Yeah, like honestly, this takes a while.
You have any other plans for the weekend?
No, I'm actually just working this weekend, so that's great. I love working weekends because it's busy. So,
well, I have to eventually go out there to meet a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Towards you. I would rather go out there if you were throwing a show or performing somewhere, so you can make it all one thing.
Yeah.
Or if you're not performing somewhere, then we all have to go to a karaoke bar.
Let's do it. Yeah.
That's what I'm in. Then we'll have to do it. Then it'll make the trip worthwhile. I want to go down. I need to go to the West Coast. I need to make this happen. I know a lot of people from out there just don't go. The only reason why I don't go is because it's goddamn expensive. The airlines are expensive.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is very expensive. Tickets are crazy right now.
Canada. Thank you, Canada. I really appreciate the price of everything. And, they're like, travel within the country. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's too goddamn expensive. Jennifer, thank you so much. You are a great guest.
Thank you.
If you ever want to come back on to ever promote anything, or you want to get stuff off your chest and talk about something, feel free to reach me on Instagram, and we could definitely do it. Guys, feel free to follow Jennifer Victor on Instagram and stuff. I have her link actually in the bottom in the comments underneath. I got all your description there. Perfect. Check her out on Spotify. Which one's better? Which one's the best one? Apple Music. Which one's the best one?
Spotify's the best one.
It's the best one, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Spotify or Instagram. Those are my two mains.
Those are your two favorite? Okay, perfect. Follow her on Spotify. I got you on there now. I'm definitely going to be following you and listening to you. Jennifer, thank you. Have yourself a great night.
You too. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Jennifer. Guys, thank you for listening. Have a good night. Bye.